So in this playlist of videos, we've shared different techniques that you can use in both Excel and Google Sheets for how to make sense of giant data sets. So for instance, in Wake County Schools, we have SOAR, which allows you to pull in a lot of data at once, like student demographics and their grades and their teachers, their NC check-ins, all that kind of stuff. But a question that we often get is, well, what about the data that's not in SOAR? How can I pull in other data alongside this? And that can get a little bit tricky when you have a situation like this where, SOAR is giving you a data set with like 600 kids, but maybe the other data that you have only has like 150. In theory, you could search for each of these and just kind of paste it in one by one, but that's going to take a lot of time. So this video, we're going to show you how to use X-Lookup, a formula, in order to merge the sheets in just a few seconds. Now, if formulas are new for you, that might be a little intimidating, and that is okay. You can use this video, pause, and practice. And if you're in WCPSS, feel free to contact us, and we can help you out. So the first step would be to bring in that other data into another tab. And usually there's a little plus sign or something in a spreadsheet, and you can kind of write in data and then kind of paste it in. Just make sure that the data, each data set has that common piece, that student ID number. In theory, yeah, you could use last name, but there might be a number of Smiths or something, so that's not foolproof, whereas a student ID number is going to be unique. Okay, so now you have this data, and you want to find a way to pull it in here. So let's go to where we want it to be dropped in. We'll type in other data, but you would write in, local survey or discipline, whatever it is that you're doing. And we're going to use a formula. You can tell Excel that you're starting a formula by hitting the equal sign and then start typing in that formula. So for us, it's X-Lookup. And then you open a parentheses to kind of start it. And it will tell you essentially what to add in, but it's a little technical. The first thing is lookup value. That is asking essentially, what is the thing you want to search the other data set for? So for us, that's that ID number. And all you have to do is just click on the cell with the ID number, and it adds it to that formula. Now, when we want to move to the next part of the formula, we do that by just hitting the comma sign. And then you can see it switch to lookup array, which is kind of a jargony term. That's essentially just saying, where do you want to search for the ID number? So we go to that other data set, and what we do is all we have to do is just click on the column with it, and you see it adds it in the technical kind of Excel language to here. So let's then add in another comma, and that brings us to return array, which is essentially just saying, what data do you want to pull over? So let's click on that column with this other data set, and that's it. There's other parts to this, and I'll go into a little bit more of those in the Google Sheets, just so I'm not overloading y'all all at once. But for now, this is all we really need. So we close the parentheses and hit enter, and what you do is you see this NA. That's because this kid didn't happen to take that, whatever the test was. Okay, so now we have it for this row, but we want it for all 600 rows. You could, in theory, just keep writing the formula, but that's time consuming. What you can do instead is if you click on the corner of this cell, what we can do is we can drag this down, and it's going to copy the formula for all 600 kids. So you see, all the NAs, well, they weren't in that smaller data set. But you have then here kids that did take this other assessment or wherever it might be, and you have their data alongside it. So to kind of show you, let's just pick a kid at random. So this kid right here, copy this, got 4.1. If we search for his ID number, here's this kid. And you can see now we have all his other data, demographics, or her, I should say, the fake teacher. These are DRA staff members, their grades, and then also that 4.1, this other data source alongside it. Okay, so that's how you do X-Lookup in Excel. Google Sheets, it's the same basic thing. So we have the giant data set from SOAR. We have the other data that you want to pull in, and we want to then pull this data in based on that common identifier of student ID. We want to pull it in here. Okay, so let's go to the column where we want to add it in. Type in, other data, and then again, we want to hit the equal sign. It's the same basic process. start typing in the formula, and there you go. You can just click on it and it'll start that parentheses. As a reminder, the first part is just what do you want to search for? So this kid's ID number, hit comma to move to the next part. We'll go to that other data tab. I'm going to click on the column with all the ID numbers. So it's saying search through here. Hit the comma again, and I'm going to click on the column for the data you want to pull in, the other data. I'm going to add one more piece, and this works the exact same in Excel, which is essentially you can also have it, instead of that weird NA, which might feel like something's broken, you can type in the term that you want it to say if that student ID number did not show up here. So why don't I say like did not take test. Add the parentheses, or excuse me, the quotation marks and the parentheses, hit enter. And now we have this kid did take the test. And if I click on the corner of the cell and pull it down, it's going to copy that formula to all these rows. Takes a little bit longer in Google. Well, you get the point. It would just go on. So now all the kids that did not take the test, it pulled in that phrase. And all the kids that did, we have this other data source merged onto our SOAR data. So you're able to kind of combine two different data sets in just a couple seconds using X-Lookup. Again, that formula equals X-Lookup. The first part is one of the ID numbers. The second part is in that second data set, the whole column of ID numbers. The third part, click on the column of the data you want to pull over. And then if you want, you can add in this fourth part, which is what phrase do you want to say if they weren't in that smaller data set. Okay, so that's how you merge two different data sets using X-Lookup. I hope that was helpful.